wherever you are in the world. Good day, good people, good day, and welcome to Wow, Wish Only Well live television show where I am your host, SherVonne Grose, marriage and family therapist, inspirational coach, and motivational speaker. Listen, guys, it's Wednesdays. You know what we do on Wednesdays. We come to Wow. And by Wow, I mean to wish only well all across the world. Listen, I am so super excited about my special guest who is already in the studio backstage. She is ready to come out to get conversation started so that you can hear all about this wonderful woman, this wow, winning only woman that is in the studio with me. But you know how we do it, guys. We do justice by properly introducing our special guest. And so tonight I'm going to do just that. So let me tell you a little bit about the special guest who is in the studio with me today. All right. So my guest today is none other than the fabulous D. Isom. I know I was about to mess up her name, right? Because she has this really unique name, right? But let me tell you about D. Isom, right? Coach D. Isom. She is a mental wellness and fitness coach, author, motivational speaker, president, CEO of the Flawless Foundation, and CEO of Flawless Fitness Spa and Flawless Fitness Apparel. A native of Orlando, Florida, she has a passion for bringing out the best in others. She began as a licensed cosmetologist over 19 years ago. Eventually, after finding her purpose, she crossed over into fitness. The passion behind the profession started as a solution to address negative body image. Childhood traumas misshaped her into believing that she was somehow less than. Her breakthrough came, though, when she began healing these emotional wounds. She quickly realized that she was more than enough. And her experience wasn't isolated. She was set free by embracing forgiveness and love for herself. This sent her on a mission to restore the inner beauty within everyone she interacts with. Fitness transformed Coach D's life through emotional, physical, and spiritual healing. Listen, I am so excited to have with me the beautiful and the fabulous, right? Deliqua Isom. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you, Coach D?
I am awesome, awesome, awesome. I started laughing. We got ready to
You
say
know
my
I did, right, because I was like, wait. Let me make sure I get because I always want to do this, right? I always mess up people's name. I do that even with my with you know what, with the therapist, we share an office together, and I just call her. Her name is Chandra, but I call her something totally different. And I'm like, that is not her name.
that's my name.
So
Hi.
hey, I knew you were Coach D, so I was like,
Right.
hey, let me say Coach D to get to make sure. So for the people, in case I messed up your name, please tell her it is Delacroix, correct?
Deliqua. Hmm.
Yes, I
Yes.
love it. It's so sophisticated and it fits you perfectly.
Thank you.
Listen, I want to welcome you to this platform tonight. I'm so excited about all of the things that you have going on. You're an awesome, awesome woman doing some phenomenal things. Not only do you help transform people physically, but you do mentally as well. So, and
Yeah.
it's amazing how your journey started. Read in your bio that you was initially a cosmetology, and this is like how it all got started because we love to look good. We love to get our hair done, right?
Don't we?
So this is awesome just to kind of hear. So tell us if you can, in your own words, as much of your story as you can tell about how you actually got started, how you started, from your journey of being a cosmetologist and how you ended up being where you are today and the things that you do to help, women and I'm sure men transform. You're a mental wellness coach that,
Mhm.
help people get their mindset right.
Thank
But you also have the flawless fitness that also
you.
helps us to get our physique in shape. So just tell us your story. Take us through how much of it that you're able to take us through.
Okay, so we're gonna start back with my childhood.
Okay.
So the reason why the negative body issues played with me. So I was molested from age 5 to 12.
Wow.
Then I was raped in my early 20s. I went through a lot of domestic, physical, and verbal abuse. I had my first child when I was 14. No, 15, I'm sorry. I had my second child when I was 18. Um, in transitioning, as a single mom, I was laying on the couch and my children were talking. And they were kids, they were in elementary. And my son had asked my daughter, "What do you want to do when you get older?" And she said, "I want to be like my mom."
Wow.
So that took, I was asleep, but you know how you're not in a deep sleep, but you can hear.
Yeah.
That hit me. That did something to me because I'm wondering, what do you see? She wants to be like her mom. Her mom is broken, battered, abused, an emotional wreck. What does she see? Her mom is angry. So what do you see? And so I made a decision then that I needed to heal because I didn't want her to see the anger, and maybe she felt that that was the right way to go. My mom is this strong Black woman, but didn't realize that that came because I was so broken. That was a shield that I used because I was so broken, never going through proper healing until my 20s.
Wow.
And so at this time, I was struggling bad. Um, I got into cosmetology, and I never thought I would leave cosmetology. Never thought I would leave. You couldn't tell me that I was going to be in fit.
Uh-huh.
Like I was always athletic. I ran track. I played basketball. I did cheerleading. So I was always active. But I had a friend at church come up to me and say, "What do you want to do? How can I help you?" Me and my wife.
Wow.
And that's when I told him, I said, "Well, I want to go to cosmetology school." And so he said, "Find out what you need to do." So the cosmetology program had already started. They had already selected their people. And I got with this older gentleman. He was helping me get into school because that's what he did. He helped students get into school, their placement. So he was like, "Well, I got you an interview. Classes already started. But I told her about you, and she wants to go ahead and interview." And she said, "Generally, some students may drop out the first week." And I was like, "Okay." And I went, Miss Jordan was her name, an older Caucasian lady. I went in, and she was just like, "I love you."
Oh.
And we began to talk, and she said, "I have some other students." She said, "But you're going to be the first one I call." She said, "Because I just feel like you need this." And I was like, "Well, what about, the kit, the cosmetology kit, everything?" She said, "Well, I have an extra one in the back." And then the guy, Mr. Rucker was his name, David Rucker, he was like, "Well, I'll help you get your uniforms. We'll get you a voucher to get you your scrubs for school." She called me the next week. And I started, and that husband and wife took care of my kids. They would babysit my children while I would go to school.
Oh, wow.
They only did it for a season. I don't know what happened, but they stopped. So I ended up having to quit my job because what they were keeping my kids when I worked part time. So I went to school during the day while they were in school. And then, but I ended up having to quit my part time job and we just go to school and make it do what it do the best way I could.
Yeah.
I really had to just make it do what it do. And I was on assistance, I was on welfare, I was getting food stamps, I was on Section 8, so I was getting assistance with my rent. But I tell people all the time, I say, y'all look at Section 8 and y'all think, okay, she's paying $2 for rent. No, baby, not Deliqua. Deliqua, that ain't Deliqua's story with Section 8. If the rent was 50, Deliqua paid $625. Don't ask me how. It ain't been that easy for me. Like for
Wow.
most people that are on public assistance. And so I'm on public assistance, and I just feel like, what is the purpose? Because y'all ain't helping me. Because
Right.
every little
Mhm.
inch I take, y'all cutting. And so it just became, it was just crazy, just financial for me. But I started digging in my healing. I started just really digging in, praying,
Mhm.
seeking God, saying, okay, my life is just not about being molested, raped, domestic violence. There is
Mhm.
more to this madness. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not placed on this earth just to have suffered all these things with no true meaning for my life. And
Right.
so I just began to ask, cry many a nights, why me? Why me? Why me? And the answers begin to come.
Mm.
And it was kind of shocking, because I at the time I wasn't in doing fitness. I hadn't even wrote a book yet, but bits and pieces of the answers to my purpose began to come.
Mhm.
And so I noticed that when I would go places and I would see young teenage moms pregnant, it was like something twisted in my spirit. Like, I automatically knew what she's going through.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so God was telling me it's all necessary. And then I would get people that would just randomly talk to me about things. As I'm doing women's hair, and I would hear certain stories and talking to me, because we psychologists.
Yes. Yes, of course. Yep.
They would share things with
The
me, and
beauty shop is where it all happens.
all happens. And they would
You hear
say,
it all.
they would tell me, you're so young, but you're so wise beyond your years
Mhm.
to be so young. And these were married women,
Mhm.
highly educated women,
Mhm.
and they would come in, and it was like they would come in to be fed.
Mhm.
They would
Right.
come in to be fed. They
Yeah.
would come in one way and they would leave out another way.
Mhm.
And so, as I still was going through my healing process of forgiveness, just understanding, before you can move forward, you got to release these people, baby. You got to get these people up out your spirit, because these were relatives. I was molested by two male cousins and then a female cousin, not biological cousin, but she was my sister's cousin. And so, and then the domestic violence, the rape. And God was saying, okay, I need you to forgive. And when
Mhm.
I began to forgive, it was like a weight that I felt instantly. And
Mhm.
it wasn't, I tell people, it's easy if you decide to do it
Mhm.
and you mean it from your heart.
Mhm.
And so I literally just began to say, God, I forgive, and just call out their names. And I sat still. I was crying, boo-hoo crying. And I promise you, it literally felt like a weight came off of my body. I literally felt lighter. And so then God began to take me a step further, because now, okay, I'm getting deeper. I'm talking to my pastors about different things that I'm going through in my healing. I'm getting advice from them. So they're kind of coaching me, along the way. And so I'm having all of these emotions that I'm uncertain about, because we're supposed to forgive, but I don't like you. I don't like you. So I'm going through all of this stuff, and they're telling me it's natural. Don't beat yourself up.
Mhm.
It's natural for you, as you're releasing, to get rid of these emotions. You can forgive, and they don't have to be active in your life.
Mhm.
You don't have to be around them every day.
Mhm.
You have control. You have the power now.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so you can move freely with them.
Mhm.
You can give them as much access as you want them to have.
Mhm.
And that really helped me, because people think when you forgive people that you open the door for them to hurt you again.
Mhm.
You open the door when you fall back into the behaviors
Right.
of
Yeah.
and allowing them back in.
Right.
And
Mhm.
so I began to just really dissect everything and just really take I wouldn't date. I wouldn't talk to anybody. And I would tell guys, and they would try to talk to me. I would be like, baby, this ain't what you want. And I said that not arrogant, but because I know I was healing.
Right.
And I didn't want to spill out on someone else.
Which is important, right? Yeah.
I didn't want to project what I'm going through on someone else in the relationship. So I made sure, like, 5 years, I wouldn't date. I wouldn't go. I would literally go to church, work, home, do activities with my children, tunnel vision to the max. Because I'm like, I don't want nobody in my space right now because I got to get rid of all these other folks that came to hurt me. I have to clear and make room for new beginnings and new relationships. So that was just part of it. But as I was doing hair, I would work out all the time. And the two trainers that I would train with, they would be like, you need to do this. And I'm like, that ain't my personality. I ain't got time to be jumping up and down, screaming, yelling at people. Like, that is not how I, right. And they were like, no, you can do it being you. And so one of my pastors, I was doing her hair, and she said, have you ever considered being a trainer? You work out all the time. And I had just researched everything. It was about a year that I was waiting on this decision. And I had literally made my decision, like, okay, I'm going to do it. And so I said, yeah. And I looked it up. This is the cost. When she left that day, she paid for her hair and paid for my certification.
Wow. Oh, what a blessing.
I'm going to God began to show me, I'm going to rebuild how I rebuild you. You're going to now take this and rebuild other people. Because the mission is heal, rebuild to become empowered.
Wow.
And he made it very plain. I've walked you through the process. You know what to do. Right. And the thing that I was asking God as a part of my healing, America likes to cope and America likes to talk about triggers. But one of the things that I asked God, and I know to be true for my personal self, I asked God to heal me to the point that there will be no residue of anything on my life. When I tell my story, I want people to look like, what? You've been through. I mean, because there's more to the story. But when I say, well, I was molested from 5 to 12.
Wow. That's strong. Yeah.
I was raped. And you ain't got no fear in your body. Like, you. And so I believe that when you are really open to a healing process, true healing process, completely submerge yourself into it and just say, God, let your will be done in my life. Take all of this away from me. I really, truly believe that he will do it. And I feel like healing is a decision because there are things that happen in your life and you can easily go back if you make a decision to go back.
Right.
Every day there's things happening and you have to make a decision that I'm going to still move in my healing emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. I'm not going to allow these situations. I'm going to dissect them, deal with them, but I'm going to keep moving. I'm not going to allow these things to take me back to that place where I was confused and broken, didn't have an identity, thought my identity was molestation.
Right.
Didn't see the value of myself.
Right.
So I really just it was a long process, and I still do the things that I did back then. It's been 20 plus years. I still do this stuff today because different things happen throughout the day, and I have to come back to this place of being recentered,
right,
and myself, and looking at me, self-evaluating me, like my energy. Okay, so, this is what happened. Why did you respond that way?
Yeah.
What was your vibration that allowed you to respond that way? What haven't you dealt with before you walked outside this morning? So, yeah.
That's good. That's real good right there that you were able to share that because not only were you, you've had childhood trauma, but you were re-traumatized. So here you are, someone that's sitting, and you've experienced all of this complex trauma is what it is. You experienced that, but at the same time, you got to the point where you were able to forgive. And once you were able to forgive, then your healing process started. And I think that's where a lot of people miss the mark, is not you hold grudges and you don't want to forgive, because it is, and I'm not underestimating that, because it is very hurtful when these things happen to you, and it's hard sometimes to get to that point where you realize that you got to forgive. But there is actually freedom in forgiveness, and I know that's probably become quite cliche, but it's actually true,
It's the
right?
truth.
And that forgiveness is not for the people who wronged you. Really, that forgiveness is for you to become
Mhm.
free,
Free.
right?
Yes.
From the shackles,
Hmm.
from being bound by those things that have happened to you. And so,
Yes.
that forgiveness is so important. But I mean, you have an amazing story, just how things started to unfold. And it's amazing how God is very intentional, and there were people along the way to help you, even as you started your journey into being a cosmetologist.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
had the people there that were able to, bless you. And
Hmm.
even if they were only there for a season, right?
Hmm.
Their presence was still important, because they helped to get you started on your
Yes.
road, right?
Yes.
To where
Yes.
you needed to be. And
Yes.
then once you started doing hair, and you were feeding into people and you were pouring into people, right? You had that wisdom because of what you had grown through in your life, that
Yes.
gave you that foundation to be able to share with
Yes.
others, right? And to
Yes.
be able to
Yes.
pour into them, right?
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. And so, wow, it's just amazing to me that even there doing that while you were doing hair, and then when you were able to move to your next, which was becoming that fitness coach,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And so you had someone there to kind of say, hey, listen, you had already been doing the work, right? Preparing for it. But then you had somebody to just say, hey, I'm going to not only bless you by paying for my hair, but I'm going to go above and beyond and give
Hmm.
you this to kind of help you get that certification you need, so that
Yes.
you can do it. And so now
Yes.
here you are today.
Hmm.
You are this mental health coach, right?
Hmm.
And now in this flawless fitness instructor. So,
Yes.
and speaking of flawless, you have this very awesome thing that you shared with me, and it talks about here's exactly what you say. You says flawless as heat is applied to a diamond. This process removes all impurities to become flawless. This applies to health and your overall well-being. So
Yes.
yeah, so you share that. I think that's sums up a great deal.
God gave me that name,
Hmm.
Flawless. When I was transitioning into fitness, I was like, okay, so what am I doing? What is the name? Because I'm asking God every question along the way. What are we doing, God?
Right.
What are we doing? How are we co-creating together?
Right.
So when he gave me the name Flawless, I laughed. I was like, that's too much pressure.
Right.
That's
Hmm.
too much pressure because people like look you up from head to toe.
Right.
Let's be honest. You
Yeah.
know, your name, what's the name? And when he gave me the name Flawless, my pastor had just did a message about applying heat to diamonds and how they become flawless.
Hmm.
And God reminded me of that message, and he said, such is your life. Heat has been applied, and heat will continue to be applied to remove impurities out of you along your path, along your journey.
Wow.
And I was blown away. And so that name was not, oh, who she thinks she is. No, that name was God given. And I
Hmm.
battled with it. I battled with it because if people don't believe me because they see the makeup and the hair, but I'm a hoodie and Nike type of chick. When I go out, okay, I'm gonna put on some clothes. But day to day, no, I don't want to do all
Hmm.
that. I
Yeah,
don't
for
do all
sure.
that, you know. And so the name Flawless sometimes make me get myself in line. Like, okay,
Yeah.
because people are watching, and you are
Hmm.
your brand, you are your
Hmm.
business. And so
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't feel like it today, but you're going to have to represent your brand well because you are the first representation of it. And so that's exactly where the name came from. I was laying in my bed praying about it and it came. I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. So, and then the tagline is be bold, be beautiful, be flawless, be you, because those are all things in my journey that I had to embrace about me. I had
Wow.
to,
Yeah.
I had to learn how to become confident and bold. I had
Mm-hmm.
to learn how to understand, okay, you are beautiful inside and out, and don't,
For
just
sure.
because these things happen to you, don't let
Mm-hmm.
men, because they always, oh, you got big beautiful eyes, why are you looking at me? So it made me feel insecure, like I never wanted to look at a man, because now I'm thinking every time I look at a man, you, next thing I know, you're gonna be trying to have sex, do something that, no, that ain't what I'm here
Right.
for. And
Mm-hmm.
why do you think I'm looking at you like that?
Yeah.
Why do
Right.
you? And I had to understand that these are their issues, Deliqua, not yours. Embrace
Yeah.
yourself and keep it moving.
Right. Exactly.
Embrace them and keep it
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
And so one part of me embracing my book, my eyes is funny. My book, Through the Pain I Rise, Let's Talk.
Mm-hmm.
I was told in 2007 at the Essence Festival that I would write a book. I had a story to tell. And the guy that told me that got on my nerves, and I was like, I ain't nobody writing a book. I don't know what you're talking about. I barely like to talk to people. And he's like, no, I've watched how people gravitate to you, and just the way you interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I transitioned up here in 2015, God gave me the title, Through the Pain I Rise. I didn't know what it meant. I just knew, okay, this is something that I need to write and save.
Mm-hmm.
And I saved the title in my phone. Before I turned 40, God said, now it's time to write your book. And I was like, and my mind immediately went back to Essence Festival, Canal Street, Marriott, Cedric telling me, you need to write a book because you got something to say that's going to heal a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And now God is saying, now write this story. But when I was doing the photo shoot, let me tell you how awesome God is. I'm looking for a shoe to pop for the cover. Okay? I'm looking for the shoe that's going to just, oh, look at that shoe she got on the cover, grab people's eyes. When I did the photo shoot and I got the pictures back, God said to me, it was this one particular photo, and it was hard to choose, but it was just this one photo. God said, the things that men try to take away from you, I'm going to use it to pull people in. And every time somebody look at my photo or my book, they say,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, your eyes.
Wow.
Oh my God, your eyes. And I was blown away. I said, here you are, stretched out by the god dang on shoe.
And it was not even the shoe.
Looking for a shoe. And the shoe did take note. But God said, I'm using the eyes. And
Wow.
I knew, okay, this is the picture for your cover. And
Wow.
even my daughter, everybody that saw that picture, because I sent it to my best friend, my daughter, and my makeup artist, they all said the same thing. Oh my God, your eyes. Do you see your eyes? And I was like, God has already said, this is the
This
one.
is the one.
This is the
Do
one.
you have that? Do you have your book right there with you to show?
Well, I don't know if you can.
Wow. Yeah, we see it. Move it back in. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yes.
And I was,
So
go ahead.
we are basically out of time. I love when we have
Mm.
these because it's only a 30-minute show. So we were just getting ready to get into the good. So quickly, you have two books. So that's one. What is the title of your second book?
Behind the Scenes of Purpose, how to align yourself to purpose.
Yes, I
Yes.
love it.
And
So
this,
tell
go
them
ahead.
how can they connect with you and be able to get your books?
So my website is author.deliquiaisom.com. You can purchase both of my books on my website. I
Mhm.
do have my books on Amazon as well. but I prefer you to go directly to my website and purchase
Yes.
from my website.
Yeah.
And then I'm on Instagram at flawless_fitness 38. And that's where I post a lot of reels and videos of me talking and sharing things that you can do to help you heal, things that you can do to change your mindset, get rid of some of these behavior patterns that just don't serve us. One thing, when we're healed, our behavior has to line up with our healing. Has
Yes.
to. We can't say we're healed and operating in the same behavior patterns. So I share a lot of that stuff on my Instagram as well. So
Good deal. You heard her right here on Wow People. So make sure you go and check her out. Deliqua Isom. She is a motivational speaker and she is a mental wellness and physical health coach. So be sure to check her out, guys. This is all of our time. Our conversations are always so good and time goes so fast.
so
So as we end the show, remember, guys, to wow somebody. And by wow, we mean to wish only well. Until next time, we will see you next week. Bye bye.